blessings on you. Well, we're getting ready to go into a powerful show that's about to be aired every Thursday at 7:30 on my Rhema Wells International page. Listen to me. Wherever you see success, wherever you see greatness, there's a story. There's some stories are written, some stories are heard, but some stories you never hear. This is going to be an opportunity for you to hear the stories of persons who live to tell it. Wow, you will be shocked to hear the stories of persons that would be a part of this show. Every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. on our Rhema Wells International page. My story. I have one. You have one. I want to hear your story. And then I want to share my story with you. You don't want to miss it. Persons will join us from all around the world to share their story. You don't want to miss it. Bless you now. Looking forward to seeing you. Thursday, 7:30, Rhema Wells Ministries International, my story. Hey, welcome. Good evening to all of you, and welcome to my story. This is the first of what's going to be many sessions to come, and this is the inaugural night where we kick off my story, where you will be hearing from persons who would have gone through some things that will have you like, wow. Every success has a story. Wherever you see greatness, there's a story. Some stories are written in books. Some stories are told. Some stories are never even mentioned. But you're going to be sharing with us, as we share with you, stories of men and women in the church arena, in the business arena, or who may just be casual people who went through some things in life and they came out. It's going to be impactful, encouraging, inspiring, and you're going to cry. You're going to also laugh. But listen to me. It's going to be awesome. So go ahead right now. You're on Rhema Wells International page. Go ahead and share the link. Get the word out. Let them know it's going up here on my story on tonight. Now, we only have an hour, but this young lady that I have with us tonight, she need at least about 10 hours. But we're gonna do this in stages, and we're gonna do this in series. You know, I love to preach and teach in series, so sometimes you have so much you can't give all one time, so you have to just do it in series. So I don't know, we might have to just bring you back and just, you know, take this thing a bit at a time and eat this elephant a bite at a time. But I promise you, it's going to be awesome. We have her husband, Minister Stephen Todd, in the house tonight, and I know he is so proud of his beautiful wife, Lekeisha Todd. So good to have you tonight.
It's awesome to be here, sir.
Now, can you all hear her? Let us know if you can hear her. Let us know if you can hear me. And amen, because we don't want to miss anything tonight. So good to have you with us. Keisha?
It's a privilege to be here.
Can I call you Keisha? I got to call you Minister Keisha.
No. You can call me Keisha.
I'll call you Keisha, because that's who I know. Okay, first of all, how did you transition to LWKM? How you got in my life? How you get in my wife and I space?
Well, how did I get to church?
How do you get to church?
Well, for me, I had gotten fired from a job, doing foolishness on the job, and I had gone to a law firm trying to get some closure or get something out of them firing me. Upon me going to the law firm and not getting anything successful from the lawyer, I met up with one of your elders, Elder Beatrice McQuaid.
Oh.
And that woman would not let me go. She ministered to me there in the law firm, and then she took me to her job, took me home with her. And
you just jumped in the car and gone with her?
This woman didn't know me from the man in the moon.
Yeah, but you gone in the car with her. You didn't
Well,
know
I didn't have it. At that point, I wanted to commit suicide.
Oh,
So,
we're gonna get there.
and this woman would not leave me alone. I wanted to just die, you know. Everything was going array in my life, so I just wanted to get away, but she wouldn't let me go. So she eventually took me to a park service that you used to have at an old, that's on Blue Hill Road, the old Sunshine Twin Theater where we were.
Yep.
And I was there at this concert, and I liked reggae, so that really pulled me in, you know. And I saw you guys on the, you and Pastor Farquharson on the pulpit, and y'all were talking and everything, ministering to these people. And I looked and I said, boy, I look at them and I say, yeah, I want one of them.
One who?
One of y'all.
Oh, Jesus. She doesn't start to tell the story. Oh, Lord.
I have to tell the story, the truth, the whole truth, number, the truth.
Wow.
Okay, so I said, yeah, because I know what it is for men, well, so-called men of God who don't actually live up to what they say they are. But I met up with this holy man of God. And I was like, this is really a holy man of God. He ain't playing with his children. So that's what really sold me into coming into Living Waters, a father.
Wow.
That's what really sold me. But I didn't even know when I walked up to the altar and gave my heart to the Lord. And here I am.
You serving in ministry now. How long you been serving?
I've been here for going on 21 years, and I've been serving for the majority of that in the capacity of the choir, the praise team, and
You
now...
was in the choir too?
Yes, sir.
Praise team too?
Yes, sir. And evangelism at the same time.
Wow.
But then, God told me to narrow my focus to the evangelism team.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
That's where you find your fella.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, evangelism ministry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know the story. How long were you married?
I've been married now for 8 years. We've
8
been together
years.
for a little over 11 years, eh? About 11 years.
Boy, we didn't show you always gonna make it, boy. You know, I told you a lot.
Yes.
I say, boy, I
Yes,
know.
yes.
And then you know you were still on the edge.
Yes.
Yeah, God did a work in you.
Yes, he sure enough did.
Yeah, I wasn't too concerned about your husband. I figured he would have just flow. But
Yes.
boy,
I remember that last counseling that we had, and I said, Apostle, do you think we're going to make it? With tears in my eyes,
And what'd I say?
and I thought you were going to say no, but I had to brace myself. But then you looked at him and you were like, yeah, y'all will make it.
y'all gonna make it. Yeah, I look at him.
Yes, not at me.
I say, y'all gonna do it. Y'all gonna do it. Wow. Okay. What is the name? Y'all got your business now.
Yes,
Must see about 3 or 4 of them.
yes.
Talk about your business.
Okay, so we call it the Todd Group of Companies because we have...
Todd Group of Companies.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we have Subcool Air Conditioning, and then we have a Touch of Heaven Bakery, and we also have 242 Flowers.
Now, you know y'all didn't know anything but baking.
Nothing.
How y'all got into baking though?
It was honestly a touch of heaven, and the story goes back to when my husband did a service call to your home.
Okay.
And you gave him some bananas, and he refused to let them go to waste. And he just started in the kitchen baking those, and it was like he took it to different people to say, try it out. Like maybe this could work, you know? And he continued at it until we kind of left the other businesses and focused solely on a Touch of Heaven Bakery. So that started from you again, sir.
Wow. And now everybody want a piece of your
Yes.
heaven. Awesome. And you do arrangements.
Yes, I do event
weddings.
florals and weddings, yes.
Because you know, I mean, y'all got this looking so nice. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. How many children y'all have?
Well, we have 2 boys. We have Dwayne and we have Liam, 2 handsome young men.
How old are they?
We have 23 and 16. He'll be 16 tomorrow.
Oh my God, I know when the boy born. Look at that. Wow.
Yes,
Awesome. All right, we're about to turn the corner like I'll say sometime when I'm preaching.
yes.
We're about to turn the corner. Now they're going to hear why you're really here. Because people see you're looking good, being married for 8 years. I walked in, man, you look just as bright as the arrangements of here. But they don't know your story. They see the business, they see you in ministry serving, looking so good, you and your husband together, working together, but they don't know that you have a story. Now, I watch Criminal Minds. I love to watch Criminal Minds. I love to watch real stories like Law and Order, Criminal Mind, Lifetime. Criminal Mind is, these psychos, where they just kill people and then the officers, the FBIs have to figure out how to get in their head and see how they're thinking and all this other stuff. You have a story. We only got a few minutes. But you go ahead and you share with this audience. Some of them heard a little bit of it. I think you talked a little bit about it in one of our events that we had.
Yes.
I think they're in it to win it. Or one of those.
Good Friday, thank you.
Good Friday in your message. You talk about, Father, forgive them.
Yes.
Now, if anybody know what forgiveness,
Yes.
yeah. We're going to talk about that too.
Yes, sir.
But share with us, share with the listening audience, your experience, what you went through in relation to your children, and I don't know, just go ahead.
Let me give you a little backstory. Well, for me, I was sheltered for most of my life. So here it was now, I met up with some young ladies who were the life of the party on my job, and they were socialites. They went all over the place. So basically in 3 months of my life, I partied like someone who partied for years. That was me from Thursday to Sunday, and even after work sometimes. That was just me.
For years?
No, for that 3 months.
3 months, okay.
For that 3 months before they died. I'm just giving you a backstory.
Okay.
So here it is now. This evening, none of them were able to go. None of them. It was about 5 of us. Nobody was able to go, but I was so stressed home dealing with homework and projects with the kids or whatever. My son, Dwayne, that we have now, he was sent to the island with his dad because I was married before. So he wasn't there, thankfully, and I went to the club by myself. And in the middle of the night, I think it was maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, here it is, I get a blow in my gut. That stopped me on the dance floor that I had to run home. And when I ran home, because I'd left them with my neighbor's daughter, teenage girl. So when I got there, I thought, okay, they were just sleeping, you know, and I saw this body move around. And so I started to call to them, Jasmine, Drexel, why you all ain't sleeping, you know? And none of them answered. So I finally rustled and got inside the house. And to my surprise, when I got in the house, the gentleman was there with his shirt off. And he just stood there and looked at me and I said, what the are you doing in my home?
You spoke in tongues?
Yes, I spoke in unknown tongues. Okay, so I asked him that and he didn't say anything. So I brushed past him to get to the room where my kids stayed. Even though they had their own bedroom, they always stayed with me.
Right.
Because I was married at that time, but I was a single mother. So
You were married
I was married to my lesson. Yes.
to your lesson.
And I got my blessing afterwards. But I was married to my lesson.
Ah, that's powerful.
Yes, yes.
I gonna use that. Yeah, I was married to my lesson.
And
but
now I have my
got
blessing.
my blessing.
Yes.
Hey, somebody needs to hashtag that. Send that to your boyfriend, your ex.
Yes. So at that time, like I said, my son was away and he wasn't there. And okay, sorry, I got a little off track. Sorry about that. So here I am looking at the gentleman. I pushed past him and got in the room. The sight that I saw in the room, I can still see it now 21 years later. I can still smell the room like I smelt it that day. At that point, here it is, my son Drexel was at the top of the bed. Like I said, they stayed in my room because we stayed together all the time, even though they had their bedroom. But he was at the top of the bed. His neck had already been sliced.
Hold on. What you mean his neck was sliced?
His neck was sliced. Well, Jasmine was worse because Jasmine, anyway, let's continue.
Yeah.
His neck was sliced and he was stabbed about his body. Jasmine was, I found her from the people who, I can't remember the name. Anyway, the courier. That she was in the praying position. She was actually praying when he killed her the last breath. And he had beheaded her and stabbed her about her body and sodomized her.
The guy is in the room, in the house?
Yes.
While you're looking at all of this?
Yes. And I started to scream. And as I started to scream, that's when he pushed me into the bathroom. And he started to freak out. He didn't know what was going on. Shut up in here before I kill you. Shut up in here before I kill you. And I just kept screaming and screaming.
Now, let me ask you this question. If that's a dream or this real life story?
This is real life. I still
in the Bahamas?
In the Bahamas. Shrimp Road, off Carmichael.
How old was the kids?
They were 7 and 5 years old.
7 and 5,
yes.
Girl and boy?
Yes.
Who's the oldest?
Jasmine, the girl.
Jasmine. In the Bahamas?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so like I said, he had me hostage in the bathroom, but something told me, at that point I wasn't safe, so something told me to tell him that I have asthma and I need my Primatene mist. At that point, I don't know if you know the fans that have the light in it. As I saw his body pass, before all of that, there was a struggle ensued, and that's when he took off my pants and fought with me inside their bedroom and everything, I guess to possibly rape me. At that point, I hadn't even seen the rocks and the knives that he'd already had all over their beds. I didn't see this stuff until the evidence in the courtroom. So he tried to kill me then, and then we fought, got in the bathroom and all of that stuff. And I told him to get my Primatene mist. When I told him to get that and his body went past that light to go into the room, I sped out of that house. And instead of me stopping to my landlord's house that was next door to me, something clicked again. If she didn't hear all of this that happened, you think she could hear you? So I ran straight out to the road because he possibly would have dragged me back in that house and killed me.
Right.
But I ran out to the road, and that's when lights started to come on and people started to come out to give me aid. And then from what I was told, he ran into the bush trying to kill himself.
Your children, both of them, were dead.
Yes. I thought that maybe with him with his shirt off, that he just raped her. So that's why I pushed past him to go in there. Like, what the hell did you do? And when I arrived inside there to see Drexel, I can see him at the top of the bed. I can see him sitting there. And I could see Jasmine laying over the bed, slumped over in the praying position. Even when we had to ID their bodies, we weren't able to ID their bodies with the cloth down like you would normally do.
Where your lesson was during this time?
Where my
lesson?
My lesson had gone back home to Mommy.
Oh, okay.
He ran back home to Mommy.
After he found this out, or he was already?
No.
He was already gone home to Mom.
Now, years later, he's matured into a man. But at that time, he was a very young boy.
Listen now, lesson. If you're watching, you mature now. All right? You good.
Yes, he's mature now.
Yeah.
So at that time, just dealing with the kids.
You're still the lesson.
Because see, I was not a goody two-shoe. Let me make that known. The only child that was his own was the one that was with his mother. The other two were from two different men.
Oh.
I was very kind.
I didn't heard that. Say that again.
I was very kind.
So he had his child with him?
Not directly with him, because he still wasn't with his mother at that time.
Okay.
He'd just gone home.
But the other two was with two other
yes. Because I had a baby for anyone that told me he loved me.
Though. All of them were lessons. Not only one, though.
And like I said,
I just got married to that one.
Yes.
But the other two were lessons too.
But that's another segment where we can talk about low self-esteem, because I had a baby for every man that told me he loved me.
No, you only had 3 babies though.
Well, that's Mommy, forgive me, but the abortions too that I had while I was very promiscuous and all of that stuff. You still love me, right, Mommy?
Now this is what my story is all about, because Mom and them,
I'm here to...
Mom and them, you might hear some things. You had abortions?
Oh, yes.
You were messed up emotionally. You were
Oh,
wrecked.
yes. Still a work in progress.
How you were able, in the midst of all of that, you had to plan for funeral.
Could you imagine having to, first of all, ID them with the cloths up here because you can't, they won't allow you to see where the neck was like that. Could you imagine at the funeral home having them laid out like that? And when I touched them, and because I'd never felt a dead body or even a corpse like that, and when I felt them to feel like porcelain, I screamed in the place. Could you imagine sitting in the front of the church? I sat there so numb because I heard the talks. People said she didn't even cry. She didn't even love these kids. I heard the talks and people were telling me things afterwards. But see, there were people that knew me with my kids. There were people that knew that I left from downtown to go to South Beach to their school and sit with them to have lunch, to take things to them. People knew me from living in Salvation Army and living in abandoned homes and everything, dealing with my children.
Huh?
Yes. I lived in Meadow Street Salvation Army, and that's why I always take things there, because they were a safe haven for me. And that's one of my goals and one of my dreams, that I really want to have a safe home for young women or unmarried mothers. Because it's not, I mean, we go through so much in life and there's so many things that come at us and we make wrong decisions. We do things that really cause even our family to not want to be around us. But everyone deserves a second chance.
How you dealt with all of the different emotions. Did I love my children? Was I a good mother? If I was home, this would not have happened. How did you deal with all of that?
I deal with that a little easier now. This has been now 21 years. But when it first happened, all of my bodily fluids were not, they were not, what's the word? Everything was going array in my body. I'm talking about I couldn't think right. I used to drive along the lake and say, let me drive inside to kill myself. It was so many different things. And I was like, you could not have been a good mother. You this and you that. And then hearing from other people, and they should have locked her up and all of these different things. But God saw it different. You understand? I knew I loved my kids. I knew that I poured into them. I knew that I was a mother and father for them.
Talk a little bit about low self-esteem.
Oh, wow.
What that mean to you?
For me, it's looking in the mirror, people telling you that you're gorgeous and you're beautiful, and you look in the mirror and you see this big, fat, ugly, good-for-nothing person. That's what I see as low self-esteem. And I see it as everybody can tell you these things, but until you get it, you can't see it for yourself. And I looked at this bottle of water earlier, and I said, wow, that is the motto of this church, reaching out to give life through the Word of God. Many people ask me, did you do counseling? No. My counseling was from Blue Hill Road to right here. My counseling, listening to you speak, allowing God to speak to you, speak to me through you. And people always wondered, well, why is she always in the church? When my husband met me, he met me running up and down, doing all kind of different ministries and all of that stuff. Even my family was like, Jesus, she always in church, always this and everything is a church. You doing something at church again? But honestly, I had to come in to get my pill, get my shot, whatever it was.
It's therapeutic for you.
It's therapeutic, and it still is therapeutic for me.
You still see yourself as ugly?
90% of the time, no. 95% of the time now. But sometimes I get in those ruts where I feel like you're not even good enough. You don't measure up. And then I have to go back to the Word of God and see how He sees me. And whenever I get in that rut, I know that it's that I haven't been in His presence, because that's when the enemy speaks louder.
Right.
But when I go in His presence, then I realize, no. You're the apple of His eye. You know what I mean? So these things I have to go back and talk to myself. So that's when I know I'm out of place.
Well, you know you're beautiful, right? You know you're beautiful. You're a beautiful person.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your husband is very proud.
Listen, he's anointed. to be my husband.
You better believe
and
it.
you are anointed to be my pastor because I am not.
No, forget me. He is anointed.
He is anointed to be
your
my husband.
I watch both of you work together so well. You're doing things in church and you work together so well. The chemistry is so strong. I mean, it's awesome.
But the emotional roller coaster.
You think you could have married someone else?
No. No.
They can handle you. They ain't grace for you.
No. And see, I got a good-looking husband too. So when I see others looking at him, because you know, with the Wi-Fi, we could see what others can't see.
Right.
So you see them looking or whatever, and I'm like, sweetie, don't even look. You can't handle him. You can't handle him. I'm anointed for him.
Right. Like he anointed for you.
Yes. Like he's anointed for me.
Is that guy in prison or what?
Yes, he is. And it's funny that you said it. Yes, he's in prison. And the thing about it is, my husband and myself and my husband actually go to the prison and minister.
Do you see him?
He has seen him in the prison. My husband has seen him. They didn't alert him until after he'd finished his ministry that that's who he was.
You think he know?
Probably not.
Yeah, but you ought to be on Facebook. They got Facebook in jail and thing too.
Yeah, that's true.
Facebook in jail, so they know. He knows what's happening. And then they put their picture out there that they're in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I went to prison, and sorry. Yeah, the fellow. Sorry, it's not my story night.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's not my story. It's just it's your story night.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about forgiveness.
Yes.
You would have gone through all of that. You think you're not over what happened. But how were you able to pick up the pieces? Move on, you're moving on. You just preach a powerful message. You were one of the speakers for the 7 last words, and you talk about forgiveness. That was it for me. I mean, all of the other speakers did well, but that was it for me. Because there's a whole lot of persons look good going on, they're in church, but they're still holding people in. They're bitter, resentful, preaching, but still holding people in. How can you forgive? But let me first ask you this question. You think you forgive him?
Yes.
Okay.
Strangely enough.
Okay. How can you do that?
It was a process. It wasn't just after that happened, hey, forgive him. No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I wanted to send a hit out on him. But it was a process. Even sitting in the courtroom, because again, this is why I owe my life and everything to God. Because I sat in that courtroom by myself. No family, no friends, me and God. And to sit there and see the evidence and to hear the things that he said, and then to say a spell came on him, and for him to recall all the things that he did to them step by step, and for me to smell the place and see the place and everything, what was done, it was not easy. But I sat there. Thankfully, this was after I'd gotten saved, given my heart to the Lord. He started to show me that I started to say, God, you forgave me of so much. I have to forgive him.
Wow. Wow. You had to forgive him?
Yes.
Then you had to forgive your families who were not in court with you. Then you had to forgive your friends who misread you, who felt that you was not fit, you was not a good mother, all of this. Yeah.
It was a lot of forgiving.
How can you do that though?
Only by the grace of God. It's nothing to do with me. Not by might, not by power, but it's by his Spirit. Nothing to do with me. Of myself, I cannot do it. Of myself, I will stay to myself. I will stay away from anybody.
Wow.
But only God. And I'm still on my way. I'm not 100% yet. I'm not perfect. God is still working on me. I'm still trying to love a bit more. But y'all continue to pray for me.
How important it is for me to forgive? How important it is for us to let go?
It is vital. Because the thing about it is, when you don't forgive someone, you're carrying all of that on your back. You're carrying all that load and weight on you. You're thinking that they're even concerned about you. They sleeping, you up all night or whatever, and they ain't caring about what you're thinking about. So for me, I heard before that unforgiveness is like you drinking the poison and hoping that that person dies. But it's only hurting you. So I tell you today, forgive. Forgive for your own freedom.
You said that you were a young girl.
Yes.
Lost some babies.
Yes.
Kill them or lost them?
Kill them.
You know, it's a difference. You know?
Yes, it's a difference.
You just lose it, had a miscarriage.
Yes.
Yeah. What would you tell young women? Because this like around 16, 17, mommy thought you were all right, going to school.
Yeah.
You was mommy little girl, and mommy little spooky. Yeah.
And then my school fee wasn't cheap. So one of these days, very soon, I'm
You
going
were
to
in
make sure I pay
private
that off.
school?
Yes, I went to Kingsway Academy all of my, well, the majority, until I didn't finish school.
Why you didn't finish school?
Because I got pregnant.
I thought you didn't finish because you was like me. I was just too smart for R&B. I left in the 10th grade.
10th grade. I only finished 10th grade, and I started maybe 2 weeks in grade 11, and here I am here with a few businesses. But so that's all God. But I never finished school, and like I said, low self-esteem again. I felt when I heard I love you and whatever, and then, and low self-esteem had so much to do with it. So I urge parents and friends of these girls or whatever to encourage them and let them know how much they are valued. And fathers to step up and tell your daughters that you love them. When I look at you on Facebook with your daughters, I said, oh man, my husband could tell you, I was like, look at this with daddy's girl or whatever. And I said, that's what fathers need to do to their daughters. And there was something I saw before that said, where they had father-daughter dances or whatever, something like that needs to be done. But I also was looking at some pictures today, and I saw many years back from me being here, just because I'm special. And I said to my husband as I was looking to them, how I metamorphosized, or that's the right word, from this caterpillar to a butterfly. And I started to see this picture with me, and I'm like, oh my God, you look like you're about 60. And then I started to see the difference or whatever. And it was because of events like that. I was excited to get dressed up to come to events like that because I felt so special. It was like me going to prom. It was like me going to a ball. So I would say to any young woman or persons around, see, they say your tribe and your family needs to be the ones to encourage you, let you know, because the world is going to tell you all sorts of things. And you're going to believe what they say if your inner circle is not telling you. So I would encourage family and siblings and everybody else, encourage your siblings and tell them how much they are beautiful, they are loved, and let's share that love around so that the value would increase.
You are in the evangelist ministry.
Yes.
In the evangelist ministry, you and your husband lead that team under the covering of Pastor Johnson. Mm-hmm. What's your message? You go to the girls' school. What's your message? You all do a whole lot of park services, sometimes some one-on-one. Mm-hmm. What you feel is your message? What comes out of you most of the time when you're dealing with them?
Well, for me, even when I came here tonight, it was basically to give hope to someone in a hopeless situation, to let them know that they're not far from God, they're not too far from God, that He cannot reel them in. Because when I look at my life, even with what I went through, from the job to the kids being killed and all of that stuff, God was roping me right back in. And you're not too far that He can't rope you back in. He loves you in whatever state you are. So like I always say, my husband and I, we try not to be judgmental of people because we know what it is to be bad. We know what it is to be doing hooking and crooking and doing so many other things. So we're not judgmental of people because we look at them and say, hey, if God could have done it for me, He sure enough can do it for you. So that's our message.
Wow. Okay. Charmaine Kelly is saying forgiveness is hard.
It is.
It is?
It is. It's not a one-day thing. It's not even a one-month thing. Like I said, I went for years in unforgiveness. I went through seasons and I thought I'd forgiven, or I'd even said it out my mouth, and I still had not forgiven. So it's not an easy pill to swallow when someone has wronged you, when they've wronged you and don't even believe they've wronged you, or haven't even apologized. But I've gotten to the point where I have to forgive and just see it as it is. They may never forgive, they will never say sorry, but you still have to forgive for yourself.
So you forgive lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3.
Yes.
You forgive all of them?
Yes. It was hard. I've had my issues even as a Christian, because being saved now for 21 years, I've had my times of talking to lesson number 1 and reeling off, like I said. There was speaking in tongues, there's Spanish that I know, a little bit of Japanese, and some, and some of those words, they flew off. And I didn't know how to, and I would take on all of that baggage in our conversations. And like they say, and at this point, I'm able to minister to women who the baby daddy isn't there. Baby daddy don't even care about the child or whatever. And I'm able to minister to some right now and tell them, listen, do what you need to do for your child. That's your child. They will come around, and if they don't come around, that's still your child. So the experiences that I've been through in my life are to help others. So I'm hoping that something that I'm saying tonight is helping you.
Kendria Stubbs, I'm sorry, sis, please forgive me. I don't know if you know her.
That's my sister, my only sister. I love you, sis.
Oh, wow. That's your sister.
My only sister.
Oh, man, I feel like crying.
Me too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, don't start us up.
You know I could cry. You know I could cry like a little girl, you know, right? Let me see. Let's see if we can. I just saw something from Natasha Lewis. She said something here.
Natasha Lewis is actually the, let me see if I get it right, grand aunt of my son who passed.
Huh?
Yes. And the thing about it is, too, God gave me, after my son passed, he was born on September 7th, then gave me a husband who's born on September 7th.
Wow. Wow. I'm trying to find that. I just saw something came up.
You know what I want to add on to that part about forgiveness? Because my sister said she's sorry. I'm sorry too, sis. There's a lot of times that we need to take responsibility for our own part that we played in the war, in the situation, in anything that we're dealing with. We have to accept responsibility, and I accept my responsibility in it.
So you would have done some things too.
Oh, yes. I've done some things to my parents. Oh, my God. I think I was the worst one in the bunch. But, yeah. So they too had to forgive me.
Yeah, Natasha said your cousins.
Oh, that must be, okay. Yeah, okay.
Kelly said, Apostle, you calling them out? I ain't calling them out. They on the live chat. Everybody can see it. Everyone can see this. I just want to see if I can find. Nashonda says she is very proud of you.
Thank you, Shonda.
Megan Wood. We love you, Auntie Keish.
Love you too, my beautiful niece.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Stop being so critical to others because they are so-called not on your level. Okay.
But that's like what I just said about not being judgmental, because so many times, see, because I know what it is to not be saved. And I know what it is for the church mother or different people to come around you and they're dressed down here and their hair tie up or they got on this hat or whatever and they judge you. They turn up their nose at you. So times have changed, and this is why I feel at home at Living Waters, where, like we said, giving life through the Word of God,
right.
And it's open arms, and you come as you are, but you won't leave as you are. As a matter of fact, as we as I think back, it's something else. I remember when I came here, you said to me, stay with me for 3 months. Because at that point, I was getting ready to marry someone in the States to get up out of here.
You used to marry someone in the States?
Yes, I'd already gotten...
In that state?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
And you said to me, if you leave and go there, you're going to meet yourself there when you get there.
Ah.
So people don't understand that you have to heal. And there's a lot of people who say, well, he hurt me or whatever, and get into another relationship. I think that's why God left me without a man for 11 and a half years. I think that's why God left me to myself, because you first have to heal before you take that into the next relationship.
Because you was in church for a little while before you even brought anybody to me.
Yes.
Yeah. You was in... You kept yourself. For that fella.
For that fella.
Lesson 2.
Blessing.
Blessing. I just check it. Woo! Listen, man, I'm enjoying this. I believe the world needs to hear you. And I mean, we don't have enough time to really go through all of the nitty-gritty. How's your business doing?
Business is doing well, real well. Again, this is something that we have no formal training for. This is something that God anointed us for and touched us, and we are working our way through the bakery business. We have a home-based bakery business, and then again, I do the flowers and weddings, and then my husband does air conditioning. Now, he's been doing that for 20-odd years, so he has quite a bit of experience in that. And me in the floral, I've been doing that for more than 15 years.
So you know when we come back, you got to introduce your book.
Yes.
Because you got to go work on this book now.
I've started.
You have to tell your story. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
The world needs to hear your story, and we know, like I said, we don't have enough time to really talk about the whole thing. Talk a little bit about your marriage.
My marriage.
Because you would have gone through so much. Y'all would have been married for 8 years. Talk about your marriage. You happy?
Oh, yes.
For real?
Yes, for real.
You love him?
I love him. I love him a whole lot. That's my best friend.
How do y'all balance ministry, work, family?
To be honest, it's not easy. Oh my God, it's not easy. We have to prioritize.
Ah, that's it.
If we don't do that, we would lose one another. We have to know when it's time to get away and, hey, enough of this, enough of that, because if we lose one another, this ain't working anyway. We've had times when we work together in the kitchen where when we get upset with one another, we have to take a break because we've noticed that we lost a lot of stuff and we messed up a lot of stuff when we were at odds with one another. So we have to literally take a break and come back together. When I say take a break from the work. And we sit down and we try. The thing about it is, when I met my husband said to me, because we didn't have a long, we did have a long courting, but we didn't have a long time before he said to me, he's marrying me. He didn't ask me to marry me. He didn't say, will you marry me? He told me he was marrying me. And he told me that he'll marry me in 3 years. And I'm like, what, 3 years? Because that ain't what me and God bargained for. Here it is, I've been single all these years, 3 years. But in those 3 years, we've learned the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not that you're not still learning things about one another. We learn things about one another daily. And even the minister evangelist is pop off sometimes, and then I have to be the one to rein him in. And then me sometime with my attitude, and he got to rein me in. So it's, and then you said something before about if you don't wait and you just go and rush into something, you could be changing one another pampers.
Right.
Well, we don't change much pampers, but not now. But we still have issues that we deal with in our marriage, and we try our best to keep God as the glue because he's the only one. Because sometimes he don't like me, sometimes I don't like him. But God is the glue in the midst of us.
Chantel Morley says, you are a phenomenal woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Some of them are saying, we are so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Sonia says, healing is the key.
Yes. Without healing,
Your sister again says, Stephen Todd is a blessing to my sister.
Yes.
Love you, brother. Oh, man, because she know you was crazy.
And the thing about
Oh, sorry, that came out wrong.
No, that's fine. Say that's fine. For people, I know that I have a crazy streak in me. So my sister, the thing about it is, I married my sister. There's so many things that he does, or they do. They eat the same kind of things. So many different things. I married my sister, and I love oh my God.
So it was easy for him to just blend right into the family, become a part of the family.
Yes. And my sister is a blessing to me and my family as well. I can't say it enough.
Wow.
And until I started to see our
I don't know when she's coming back to church. You know? I know I had to put that back. I got to put that in there. Sheena Carroll, this should be a bestseller.
Wow, wow.
Then a movie.
Wow.
So much people can learn from my story.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. I think we're going to end this session tonight.
Yes, sir.
I think they just need to marinate on that and look what God has done.
All God.
He brought all the pieces together, and now you are fulfilling purpose.
Yes, sir.
And we know that all things
Yes, sir.
work together for good to them that love God, and
Yes.
those who watch this are the called according to purpose. God allowed lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, that nightmare experience to have you sitting here tonight.
And he gives peace that surpasses all human understanding. Because there are times in my life when I looked at the pictures tonight before coming here of my Jasmine and my Drexel, and I'm like, you went through this. He gives such a peace. I tell anyone who is going through trauma or going through struggles in your life, God is my mind regulator. He is my burden bearer. He's my heavy load sharer. When my husband can't understand me, when my pastor is not there to pray for me, or my husband is not there to pray for me, God alone. Amen. God alone. So I would say to anyone tonight, call on Jesus. Accept him into your heart, because he's the only one that can keep you, can sustain you in whatever you're going through. That's my prayer for you tonight.
Boy, what a mighty God we serve.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, this is what my story going to look like. You're going to hear some stories that's going to have your head spinning. We have a few persons in the we call this the studio now. We have a few persons in the studio. Bishop Sanders wouldn't go home. A few of them in the studio tonight, and we're so grateful. But listen, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to bring persons in to be a part of this session, and they're going to share their story. You're going to hear some stories that's going to cause your head to spin. And we're going to bring people in. If God did it for them, he sure enough can do it for you. Every one of us have a story. And we hope that this show will build up some confidence in you, that you can begin to share your story. I saw Olivia Nixon quote from Revelation, "We overcame the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimonies." And you know, there's so many people out there who need to share their story, because that's going to be the deliverance for so many. People say to me all the time, I mean, you get up in church and you just tell people everything. I don't tell them everything. We can't tell you all everything.
Some things you got to say in a different
That's
country.
what Paul said. There's some things that we have to hold. Some things I share when I go overseas.
Yes.
Because I know they ain't going to look at me cross-eyed.
That's it.
So I only give you pieces just to encourage you. Before we go, how important it is for persons to have Jesus in their life, especially in a time like this, and to be in the right church.
Oh, it is very important. It's like fertilizer to a plant. Without that proper fertilization or the proper soil for you to be actually sown in, you can't grow. You can't come into yourself. And then you need a prophet, a pastor, an apostle that can see in you what you can't see in yourself. Ooh. And pull it out of you. Because I couldn't see myself up here for the inaugural show. I couldn't see me as the first one here, first of all. And I couldn't see myself even ascending this pulpit to say anything because I didn't see anything of myself of value until I started to come around here. And I started to get built by the Word of God, by the Holy Spirit, and by the word spoken by my apostle, Raymond Wells. And then again, to be able to minister to my husband and treat him the way that I need to and work alongside of him in ministry. I hear you say we work in synergy and all of that. That's because I see your wife work with you in ministry.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I got to bring you back on this show next week. You making me look so good, man. Cecily Jones says, you can only share when you're healed. Sometimes you need to share so you can get healed.
Ooh, that's good. That's so good. That's honestly what I...
Sometimes you have to tell your story.
Yes.
Because it's in telling your story the healing process begins.
Yes.
You see?
Yes, sir.
That's important. Mm-hmm. When you start to talk about what you've been through and what you came out of, and you begin to, it helps build confidence.
Yes.
Helps with the healing process. Keeping that thing in.
It's like poison.
It's like poison. There's so many persons right now hospitalized because of bitterness, holding things in, not letting it out.
I was bitter for years.
And you continue to let it out. And you will continue to be healed. Others will continue to be blessed.
Yes.
Lives will continue to be changed. And your man of God will continue to go from glory to glory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The best is yet to come.
Yes, sir.
Eyes have not seen, neither have ear heard.
Hallelujah.
I'm so glad you are part of us and on this platform tonight. We couldn't choose no one else to kick off this show.
Thank you.
So listen, keep your ears open. We got someone else for next week. It's going to be awesome. May the blessings of the Lord be upon you. I pray that what you heard tonight make you stronger, make you better, and begin to bring that healing that you need. God bless you. Have a great night tonight. My story is about to take over the airwaves. Bless you now.